Hey, you guys, I'm just going to try to wrap it up as quick as I can, but I'm at work right now, so I have a lot of time right now to spare. This is my Kenneka rant, if you will. Years ago, Teresa Martin, Kenneka's mother, she did say she was going to file a lawsuit, and she did. Last week, the lawsuit came through. She filed for $50 million, but it said that she settled for an undisclosed amount of money. If I was Kenneka's mother, yeah, I probably would have did the same thing by putting a lawsuit against the security company, the hotel, everybody I could. I would. No, it wouldn't have brought my daughter back, but it does hold people responsible. If anything, it holds people responsible. In September 8th of 2017, Kenneka Jenkins, she also went by Kenneka Martin on social media, she went to the Crown Plaza Hotel for a party. Now, forgive me if I seem to be pausing and stuttering. I'm actually driving right now, and I'm trying to go off just my memory and what I observed while I was researching, because you could not tell me I was not Olivia Benson in 2017 trying to figure out what happened to this little girl. I really was. I would look at so many videos and read so much stuff about Kenneka Martin, Kenneka Jenkins, that I actually had a nightmare about this situation. Very tragic case, because even though the mother was awarded monetary, I mean, her daughter is still not here, and yet people said, oh, finally, Teresa Martin, she has justice for her daughter. Well, I don't think that's justice. Justice is whoever did this to be held responsible. That is justice, for somebody to actually be behind bars. But let me back up a little bit. Maybe it's what you feel about the case, because during my research years ago, people said Kenneka's mother was behind this. That's one person I didn't feel who was behind this. People said Kenneka's friends were behind this. I don't believe all her friends was, but I do believe, even to this day, that a lot of her friends do know a little bit more than what they've said, or what that I've found that they've said publicly. People said it was gang related. People said it was a hit because of Kenneka's brother, who was currently incarcerated. I didn't even research that one back then, but that was one of the many conspiracy theories that was going around. People said it was an organ. She was missing organs when she was found. People said she was dating someone's boyfriend at the time, and this was some kinds of revenge, payback. Kenneka was the better looking friend, so certain friends just was envious of that, so they decided to take her life. Again, there were so many rumors. I remember watching video after video to where I thought I was losing my mind. Video after video of Kenneka staggering through the hotel, what seems to have been an empty hotel, just staggering, grabbing things to keep her from falling. I remember it was awful. It was terrible. And I kept thinking in my head, where's her friends? I don't mind kicking it. When I was young, that's what we did. But the one thing that we never did was separate. If we came together, we're leaving together. If there's a guy you want to hook up with, do it at a later date. Do it when you guys sober up. Yeah, it's more fun doing it when you're drunk as fuck, but do it when you're sober up. But we were leaving together. Exchange numbers, we were leaving together. You better believe that. We all could have been sloppy drunk, but we are leaving together. It's a code that more women and young girls, even men and young guys should go by. If you go to a place together, leave together. They were saying people that worked for the hotel had something to do with it. There were 44 people that were interviewed by the Chicago Police Department. There were 33 people that was at that hotel party. It was a lot going on, and it's just crazy. All these years later, there's been no arrests. The finger has been pointed at everybody, but there has literally been no arrests. I stopped following this case several years ago, a few years ago. It just didn't seem like anything was going to happen that was going to point to anyone really getting arrested. When her toxicology reports came back, it found that she had some prescribed medicine in her body. However, she wasn't prescribed it. Now, a lot of this, I'm like I said, I'm just trying to remember what I can remember from years ago. But she did have prescribed medicine in her body that belonged to somebody's mother or grandmother, I think, that was involved in that clique. Even the footage of, and I decided just to not say anybody's names, even though I remember everyone's name very clearly. But even the footage that went viral of, one of the young women, and people were looking through her glasses, and they were saying that she was being essayed while this was being recorded, right down to a song that had said the words "help me" in it. Child, when I tell you, if you remember this story, you kind of remember what I'm saying. It was just nuts. And if you didn't remember this story, if you didn't follow it, you had to have been there. I'm going to put it that way. You had to have been there, because everyone was a suspect. Everyone was a character. I kid you not, I was on everyone's page. I was going to crack this case. I was on everyone's page. Even Kenneka's uncle, which is Teresa Martin's brother. He came up, I believe he had moved out of the state, and he had came up to Chicago, and there was actually a video of him walking through the hotel, the same path as Kenneka would go until she went into that deep freezer, and he would wind up dead. He was murdered. The man who had interviewed the young lady who had the sunglasses on, and they said she was actually watching Kenneka being assaulted. The man that interviewed that woman, he would end up dead. And they were saying it was his best friend that killed him. But his best friend would end up dead. I mean, it was just going on and on and on. Was it related? Who knows? But it was just crazy following this story and trying to keep up with all the characters. I'm calling them characters. Yes, I know they're people. I know they're human beings. I know that this is their lives. But this was just nuts. It really was. Chicago is off the chain. Okay, I'm from New York, so I do know what off the chain means. But the fact that this was all happening in such a small amount of time was just unbelievable. I remember reading reports and watching videos during the time they was talking about all the different type of drugs that Kenneka had in her system. They were also talking about saying that she had 7 different male DNAs inside of her, and automatically we're thinking, oh my goodness, this woman was violated by multiple people. And then seeing the pictures that happened to her, what had happened to her in that refrigerator, her body, her clothes in a disarray. I read a report that one of her tooth in the front was missing. Her lip was busted. Her eye looked busted. The contents of her pocket was turned inside out. Like whoever did whatever they did to her, now they were searching to, rob her. So much was going on with this story. And then they try to say, oh, she had hypothermia. So when you get hypothermia, you get the feeling that even though you are freezing, that you're hot. Maybe that's why she was disrobing. Yeah, hypothermia busts your lip and blackens your eyes. And again, it was so much. Was there different male DNAs inside of her? I don't know. It was so much stuff coming out about this situation. It wasn't just YouTube creators that was saying stuff. It was people that knew people that were there. Everybody was just openly talking on their videos. So honestly, you didn't know what to believe. So you were trying to figure out anything of what was going on. And again, all these years later, there have been no arrests. I'm hoping that Teresa Martin may know a little more than what we know, and that eases her mind, even though, I'm just saying somebody should be arrested. I'm speculating. I honestly feel that something happened to this young woman. This is how I feel. So if my feelings are correct, I'm hoping that, besides the money, I'm hoping that somehow, it eases Kenneka's family. It's terrible. It's terrible. And since this case, in a sense, has popped up again with the settlement of the lawsuit, I went to peek on some of the so-called friends pages, and it's pretty much the same old same. You have to move on. I get it. You can't keep harping over something. I had a very close friend of mine that passed away, not from something like this, not from a tragedy like this, but you have the moments where you think about that person real deep, and you could almost go into a depression. And then the moments where you laugh at that person because you remember that person and you always did the stupidest things you could think of. But of course they moved on, and I still see the comments saying, you people, you girls know what happened to Kenneka. And if they do know, they sure have not said it to where it's got the attention of law enforcement and anything has been done about it. A very, very tragic case. Very tragic case. Kenneka Jenkins, 19 years old. Didn't get a chance to grow. I read that right before she went to that party, she had just got a job, I believe, at a nursing home, and she's going to start making her own money, and just a young girl. So she pretty much, had her whole life ahead of her, and for it to be cut short. And then the fact that she allegedly is so intoxicated or has something in her system that she wanders into a walk-in freezer, and they actually show that freezer. Inside that freezer is a big red button that could be pushed in. It stops people from being locked inside. So that led to speculation. How do you not see that button? Even if you are intoxicated or whatever, even if you're pushing on a door, that button would have released the door and opened it up. Plus, they said that refrigerator was actually plugged up because it was in a kitchen that was not working in the hotel. So someone intentionally plugged up that refrigerator. So my thinking was always that they did this after they assaulted her. They put her in there. They knew she was gone, and I guess put her in there. They didn't know that she was going to be found so quickly, but she'd be frozen. I mean, oh God, I try not to think too deep back into this story because I was in this story. Like, I think seriously, like, I'm going to say millions of us was, because I remember people in other countries were talking about this story and what happened to this young girl. I remember. So it's a tragedy. I know there have been documentaries, I think, and there was even some type of movie. I saw a trailer to some type of movie about reflecting on this story, So it's just a sad occurrence. But what I must say, ending this short little video here, go out and enjoy yourself. Definitely enjoy yourself. But always, if you come together, leave together. Don't leave your friends.
In 2 miles, take exit 64 for US 29 north toward Opelika.
Young ladies, even men, I must say this. If you come together, leave together. Don't leave your friend behind at all. If they want to get the hookup with somebody, cool. Do it another day. Yes, a drunk hookup is the best hookup. But you know what? Let them hook up another time. Leave together like you came together. Think about it. If her clique would have stayed with her the entire time, half of the world wouldn't know who Kenneka Jenkins was or even have heard of this story. And I'm pretty sure, the ones that loved Kenneka the most would have wished half the world didn't hear about this story. Okay, you guys.